You're listening to Cattywampus.
They said it wouldn't happen. And by they, I mean the royal they, us. But we're back. We're here. We're here to finish Ernest. We've come to it at last.
You dragged me back kicking and screaming, but we're here.
We're going to do things a little differently today. In the same way these Ernest films didn't get the full attention of Hollywood in that they were all straight to video, these 4 Ernest films are also not going to get their own episodes. This is the final step in the Ernest Odyssey, in which each of us took on the noble, treacherous task of watching one of these 4 films. And we are going to report to the other 3. Just to give you a sense of the top, Steve watched Ernest Goes to School. Brian watched Slam Dunk Ernest. I watched Ernest Goes to Africa. And Corey watched Ernest in the Army. Not to be confused with In the Army Now of Pauly Shore. This takes us from 1994 to 1998, thus ending the Ernest Odyssey. So, without further ado, Steve, how was Ernest Goes to School?
Well, let me preface it by saying I couldn't stomach it all in one sitting.
Let me preface it by saying I didn't watch it.
If only I were that irresponsible, my life might have just slightly more meaning. So, I had to watch it, and basically I had to take breaks. This movie was an hour and a half long.
Did you turn into
I took 3 breaks.
Did you turn into like a Quibi-like series where you were like just watching in 10-minute chunks?
Something along those lines, yes. So, Ernest Goes to School tells the tale of our stalwart old hero, Ernest P. Worrell, as no one's going to be able to guess his profession at the school, by the way.
Well, where is he matriculating?
He is at a high school at this point.
Oh. That's fair. I guess if he had gone to college, it would be called Ernest Goes to College.
That's true. We already kind of did that with Ernest Rides Again.
That's very fair. That's very fair. Let me guess. He is he's a janitor, right? Isn't he always a janitor at this point?
Yes, of course he is. He's not qualified for anything else because he didn't finish high school, shockingly enough.
So did he go back to finish? What's going on?
No, so the story opens with him as a janitor at the school with, as you could assume, a lot of school pride. He loves what he does. He loves his school. He loves the students. He just loves being there. And it opens with him taking some guff from the football team because, obviously we have to have antagonists in this film, and the quarterback and one of the wide receivers, or if he was a tackle or something, I don't know, has taken upon themselves to just be assholes to Ernest, like you do. Because, it's the 90s, and picking on people who you think you're better than because of income equality is just a thing.
Is this a remake of Ernest Goes to Camp, but at a high school?
Kinda. So, I will tell you one interesting thing. So, one of the 2 jocks that decides to give Ernest all this shit is actually played by Will Sasso in one of his earliest roles.
I'm sorry,
yes,
really?
I was genuinely surprised to find Will Sasso playing the fat jock that gives Ernest a bunch of shit. So, anyway, story progresses, and one of the school board members is meeting with the principal and tells the principal that, well, we're just going to shut down this school because, that's just something you do to save money.
Is it a private school?
It is a public school, but the county's got money problems, and this school's on the chopping block. Despite having...
I don't think that's how that works.
You would think not, but no.
You gotta find a plot somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
We need more Ernest in the labor force, that's all.
So, and they decide that not only is the school on the chopping block right now, but every employee has to have a high school education. That leaves poor Ernest up a creek.
Oh, no.
So...
Oh, this is amazing, by the way. I'm so in. I wish I'd watched this.
In order to get around that, the principal decides, being the nice guy that he is, he will give Ernest a chance to try to finish high school at the school.
So
Quick
it's
question.
literally Billy
Yes.
Madison.
I was
It
about
is.
to ask. When did this come out in relation to Billy
I'm
Madison?
not sure. I actually want to say this came out after Billy Madison, but it might be just slightly before.
It is before. Oh, Billy Madison, you didn't have original bone in your body. It's a year before.
So Ernest starts taking his classes, has about the expected results.
He excelled, right?
No, not at all.
Oh,
He
unfortunately,
did
what a
not
twist.
excel. And his only friends in the world, a couple of the students, and our usual recurring cast of older guy. So same older guy that's been in the last few ones that always plays the teller to the other individual's pen.
Oh, yeah,
Except-
yeah.
Except this time, he's playing teller to the woman who played Crazy Elvis Man's wife.
What was her name?
I don't recall. But this
Terrible lady.
this time they
Don't
are
know.
both science teachers and inexplicably German.
So, like, this high school's responsible, or this high school's complicit in Operation Paperclip?
That's kind of what it seems like, because not only are they high school science teachers, but they're inventors. They're trying to create Nobel Prize winning inventions that make people smarter. I think you see where this is going.
Steve,
The reverse microwave.
it's Flowers for Algernon, I assume.
Yeah,
But,
kind of.
real quick, Goethe is played by Linda Cash, who was the wife of the professor.
Yeah, there you go.
Spoiler alert, she's the love interest in the film I will be describing later.
Ah,
She's an Ernest
couldn't-
three-peat.
fantastic. So, story progresses. Obviously, Ernest can't succeed and is basically told, you're kind of a fuck up.
Only the school wasn't closing and had money for some kind of tutoring program.
Yeah, but they just don't. And in order to, they just want to cut their losses, and they tell Ernest, if things don't get better real soon, you're kind of shit out of luck, man. You're just going to lose your job. Even though it sounds like that's a distinct possibility for everybody anyway.
Even though this is the 8th job you've had in as many years.
Right. So, Ernest is despondent. Then his German friends come up with a miraculous idea.
A final idea, one might say.
Yeah, they come up with a final solution, if you will.
My God. Are they really played like ex-Nazi scientists? Or is this more
Kinda.
of a... Is this like an Einstein feign?
It's not.
If we're being
somewhere in
charitable.
between. Somewhere in between.
Halfway between Einstein
And
the
Nazi.
space program. You know how it goes.
So they present Ernest to their latest invention, which is a brain enhancement machine. They call it their atomic brain accelerator. And this machine basically makes the average person smarter in short bursts at a time. They actually go out of their way to say for the average person, it would make you hyper intelligent to the point where you know everything in the world for about 3 hours. So for Ernest, it works for about 45 minutes. So they use the machine on him, and he becomes brilliant Ernest. He's capable of...
I'm assuming he changes his outfit.
I believe
Actually,
you mean,
he does.
I believe
he
you mean
does.
I believe you mean Uber Ernest.
Yes, the Ubermensch, yes.
The Ubermensch P. Worrell. Das know what I mean?
Does his first of all, does he still have a hat on,
Yes.
or is his hair like slicked
Nope,
back?
he does not become rapey jail Ernest.
See,
No.
slipped back means evil, Brian. That's your
Right.
misstep.
Well, I guess I didn't mean slicked back. I mean parted to the side.
Oh,
No,
like
he-
Superman?
Greasy.
His outfit changes
Yeah.
to the same hat, thick glasses, a bow tie, and his trademark vest is now buttoned up.
Oh, he's like fucking Bill Nye.
Is
Only
it
redneck.
the same vest
Yes.
or is it a sweater vest?
No, it is a jean vest. It is half of a Canadian
He kept the
tuxedo.
denim. Okay.
So Ernest's
okay.
brilliance, he takes these treatments before every class. And he
Wait,
becomes
before
brilliant.
every class? Do you know they
Yes.
only have like 10 minutes between classes, right?
Do you really need to be the smartest man in the world to pass? I don't know.
As someone,
I guess Ernest does.
you don't.
I'm going to be honest with you right now. If I went back to high school, I'd be fucked. So, maybe.
So wait, I have a quick question here. Is he still like doing his job as a janitor, or is he just at school now?
He's just at school, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Why are we still paying? But you know what? I'm not going to
Yeah.
ask questions. At this point,
That's good for
yeah,
them.
exactly.
They're supporting
It just
him.
works.
I mean, if you're already
He's
going to be
using his,
closed.
he's using his government PTO, you know, the liberal amount of PTO that government workers get to take care of his education.
There you go.
Missing.
Yeah, scene missing, exactly. So, Ernest is taking his treatments before every class, and he becomes a genius. To the point that he becomes, as you might expect, a huge dick.
So wait, does this school? Sorry to take us back a little. Does this school have like a science lab that's not in use for students? That's just for the research of these two
Oh no, I didn't even mention
expatriates?
that. So, no,
We'll call them.
this is a hidden science lab that's somehow behind a hollowed out locker in the middle of a row of lockers.
Oh.
Like Batman's
What?
Batcave.
Is it possible the school's being closed down due to incredibly high
Electrical
electric
costs?
bills? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, where's all of our funds
Yeah, well,
going?
it's so weird. We're just so behind
all
in
the
bills.
and all the
inexplicably.
electricity seems to be draining to this one locker. Oh well.
Yeah, what can you do?
I don't get it. Our power bill's $4,000 a month.
Actually, that'd be pretty low for a school.
So,
But
so he gets super smart, becomes a huge dick, and I'm assuming fucks up everything because he's a huge
well,
dick.
no, actually, when he's smart, Ernest, he's fantastic. He's a brilliant musician. He joins the marching band as its lead, as the drum major for their marching band, to impress the music teacher, who he fancies.
Oh boy, I sense a recurring theme.
Yeah. So he does that to impress her, and he's actually very good at it. Until, obviously, he continues to be a dick. And as time progresses, people start liking him less and less and less. Until eventually, the two jocks that I mentioned at the beginning happen
Will
to find
Sasso
out...
and some other dude.
Will Sasso. Happens to find out where he's been getting his treatments. And before the big halftime show, before the one of the biggest football games of the year, the only successful thing this school has is a winning
Like state
football
or
team.
something.
Yeah. The only good thing this school has is a winning football team. They destroy the machine.
Oh man, what are the Germans?
Yeah, I know. Germans are going to be mad about that one. So they destroy the machine, so Ernest can't get his treatments, and like you might expect, him trying to lead that marching band leads to a huge disaster. Including but not limited to, I'm pretty sure he burned down an entire football field with fireworks.
How do you burn down a football field? There's only like 2 posts.
There's also
Like the stadium
there's
or the field?
stands and stuff like that, and
Oh my god.
yeah, he just sets a whole bunch of shit on fire. And
Dear God.
Does he go through smart withdrawals?
yes, actually, he does. As a matter of fact, the first time it happens to him, the Germans decide he is being a dick and decide to give him less of a treatment than they usually would, so it only lasts a few minutes. He goes to give a book report and essentially starts having a stroke, to which all the children
Okay.
just laugh and applaud.
Of course.
He's seizing.
More or less, that's really what I thought. I was like, he's having a stroke and they're just laughing at him. He's gonna die.
I was literally in a room as in an elementary school. I think I was in 3rd or 4th grade and watched a kid next to me have a seizure. And the idea that anyone would start laughing as opposed to what actually happened, where the class became understandably terrified, being confronted with the concept of mortality suddenly at 9 years old and 8 years old. Yeah. Like, anyway, continue.
So Ernest fucks all this up, apologizes to the music teacher, and decides, well, there's no succeeding now. I'm screwed. And that's when his motley crew of student friends decides, you know what? No.
So
We're going to help you.
Is this friends he had before the smarts?
Oh,
like
yeah.
we befriended
These are
the
friends
janitor?
he had. Yep. It's really unclear how much of a friend these kids are, because you meet them at various times, and then all of a sudden they're just talking to Ernest.
Well, how much of a friend can you really be to your high school janitor? I mean...
Well, what's interesting is one of these friends is another relatively successful individual.
Who?
Sarah Chalk. Also known as Dr. from Scrubs, correct.
Oh, yeah, she's great. Oh.
Yep.
And Rick and
this was
Morty.
her-
Rick and
she
Morty.
had to be like 14 years old. Anyway, so...
So Sarah Chalk's one of Ernest's friends.
Yep, correct.
Okay, that's cool. Okay.
So-
Man, man, for many reasons, I wish I didn't have to watch Ernest Goes to Africa, but it sounds like I really would have enjoyed this one.
It was much more cringy and painful than I'm painting it to be. There's a lot.
Oh, very good. Don't worry, I'm going
Yes.
to paint a pretty cringy portrait of mine in for sake of accuracy.
So they decide they're gonna help him finish or take a standardized test that I guess all seniors have to take to pass high school. It's
Why
very
can't he
unclear.
take the GED?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. They don't really explain why he just can't go to night school. Probably would have been a better film. Ernest Goes to Night School.
I would definitely watch that movie. That movie sounds
I
great.
would.
That sounds like the gritty reboot. Your John Rambo, your Rocky Balboa or Creed. You know, your Force Awakens where it's like, I'm old and tired.
Ah, good. We can get Dane Cook for that. He doesn't.
I
have
don't
work.
know. I don't know what anyone means.
He's bad. He's terrible in many ways and has nothing better to do right now.
Is it weird that Louis doesn't it really make you do a double take when you realize the person who went out of his way to redeem him was Louis C.K.?
Yeah. Boy, that aged well. So they decide to help him pass the standardized test.
But does this take place over the course of an entire school year, or is this like a last minute, you have 6 weeks to do high school?
Unclear. There is
Very
no
good.
real... Yeah, there is... This
Very
could have
good.
taken place over the course of 4 days or 4 months.
Because high
Can't
school
really
typically is spaced out in America, for anyone who doesn't know. High school is typically spaced out over the course of 4 school years.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he just has to pass a senior year. They don't, again, it's unclear.
Right,
They don't
yeah.
really bother to explain that part.
It's not
All
in
you
the
need
te-
to know
it's not in
is
the
Ernest
text
is
of the
a
film.
cartoon character, and now he's in high school. Enjoy.
I'm guessing he could have really used those remedial classes, though. Just saying.
Probably.
It's Ernest.
So they help him to get ready for this standardized test, and with, one of those standard cram session montages that films of this nature
Yes.
love to do. And ultimately he takes the test. Then it cuts to the last game of the season for the football team and the last halftime show for the marching band,
Okay.
of which Ernest is still going to go ahead and fight on with. Now, this is the last game of the season for an undefeated football team. Their football team is undefeated. And they're going up against another undefeated team. Well, you'll recall our school district asshole from the beginning of the film that says, this place is going to close and, whatever. So he realizes that there's a chance that if they're a state championship winning team, that the district may not want to close them. So he
Wait,
decides...
I'm sure this is not in the text of the film, but I'd like to explore this for a moment. If there was there always a chance of them going to state? Because why would the school be on the verge of closing? Or is this also a fluke year for the football team? And if so, shouldn't this movie be Ernest joining the football team?
You would think so, and you'd be right to think that, because there's more. So he decides to tell the head coach of the football team, look, the school's going to close, and if you just throw this game so I can close this school, I'll make you head coach at the new school that everybody's going to end up transferred to.
At the next school I close.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a public school. Your pay will be the same. You have no incentive to do this.
You have no incentive to do this. But it's a film, and we're assuming our audience is stupid, which is not inaccurate, because I do feel like an idiot for sitting through these. So, overhearing this conversation is one of Ernest's friends, one of his little school friends, who proceeds to, after a series of misadventures, tell Ernest before the marching band goes on that this is what's going to happen. So they come up with an idea to get the Germans involved.
Oh no. No.
So this was the high point of the film for me. So Ernest,
How
I'm waiting
many
for it.
references to Leni Riefenstahl's filmography are there in the final act of the film?
oh, it gets good. So Ernest takes the marching band and basically extends the halftime show as long as he can get it, while Ernest's three friends go to recruit the Germans to help. Now, during the halftime show, all of the football players are in the locker room. So, in order to succeed in their plan, because they're not getting real play calls from the coach, and they don't seem to understand that, and they're just kind of fucking up and not winning, they decide that the best course of action would be to recruit the Germans, get sleeping gas.
I don't know.
And literally gas the football team.
Attention, mesdames et messieurs. The football game will be happening now on this train. Please board orderly, in an orderly fashion. The train will take you to the new football site. It will be inside this truck after everyone takes a mandatory shower. Guten Tag.
So they gas the football team.
No. Man, I can't believe your movie might be more offensive than Ernest Goes to Africa.
So they gas the football team, and this is where
By the way, it won't be, just so we're clear.
So they gas the football team, and now their plan is, cool, we're going to steal the football team's uniforms, and now the marching band, somehow nobody will notice this occurring, the marching band will take the place of the football team.
Surely the coach will notice.
You'd think. But he either doesn't notice or doesn't care or is drunk.
Where he's like, I'm getting a new job anyway.
Yeah, it's just like, so they lose harder, whatever. So
That's fair.
They go out there and their plan is, well, we can't do any worse than they did. Oh, they do far worse than they did.
As an untrained football team, I would imagine so.
So the Germans then come up with another plan. The machine that had been destroyed was not only rebuilt, but it was rebuilt and made portable.
We call it the V2 smart machine.
Correct. And so they decide, you know what, Ernest? You didn't use this for the test, and that was the right thing to do. But on
the field of athletics, it's the wrong thing to do.
It's the right thing to do here on the field of athletics. Because for some reason, not only does this machine make him smarter, but it gives him superhuman athletic prowess.
They Captain America him. They are
Correct.
Erskines.
Well, in this case, I'm pretty sure they Red Skulled him, but...
That's true.
So they make him smarter so that he can now play call, and the team starts winning. And then they decide, you know what? We'll use this on the students, too, that are out there playing to make them smarter. And they start winning even harder. Of course, they're using unorthodox methods that, wouldn't be allowed on any football field ever.
This is Bill Belichick level cheating. This is amazing.
Yes, like stepping on feet. And,
Bill Belichick, you used a Captain America machine. That's not in the rule book. Well, damn it. Guess you get another Super Bowl. Guess you get another ring.
You win this round, Belichick. So
everyone should be so proud of me being able to make that reference.
That was impressive. So obviously they go on to win the football game.
Well, yeah, they're Captain Americas. At what
Yeah,
point was there a chance of them losing?
Yeah. They go on to win the football game, and the duplicity of asshole McDistrict school district guy is
Don't
found
worry.
out.
Don't worry. 20 Captain Americas wiped the floor with those 17-year-olds.
Exactly. So, and Ernest passed his test. He gets
On his
to
own
keep
merit.
on his own merit at that. And it is implied that he won the heart of the music teacher when it was all said and done.
Who he should not date since he's a student at the high school.
That's true. That is unethical.
That's a conflict of
It's a
interest.
huge conflict.
Well, they also work together. I just don't think that's a good idea.
And he's also
either.
part of the marching band. I mean, it's Ron in so many ways.
Also, he,
I mean,
he was complicit in chemical warfare, which...
that's true.
Okay.
So that, ladies
Well.
and gentlemen, was Ernest Goes to School.
I mean,
Thank
I'll
you,
be
Steve,
honest.
for
I
watching
give
that
it
for us.
3 tongues out of 10.
I give it 3 V2 rockets out of 4.
I think I'm glad I didn't watch that.
I'll be honest. It sounds so much better than half the Ernest movies we watched based on your description. Where would you rate it in the? Let me put it this way: better or worse than the 5 theatrical Ernest movies?
Somewhere probably toward the middle, like low middle range of it. It's obviously not better than Ernest Saves Christmas, but I still think I liked it better than Ernest Scared Stupid.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm riveted. Brian, take it away. Tell us about Slam Dunk Ernest. Just so you know, I know 2 things about this movie going in. Inexplicably, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's in it. And less inexplicably, Miguel A. Nunez Jr. is in it, who, Brian, I hope you recognized as Demon from Friday the 13th.
No, I didn't. And who?
Ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh, baby, ooh, baby. And then he's murdered in a porta potty. And he's in Return of the Living Dead.
Nope. Yep, I totally recognize him now.
Yep. That's
okay.
the only thing I know
Yep.
about Slam Dunk Ernest.
So
All I really
I'm
want to
just
know
gonna-
before you start is at any point do Bill Murray or the Monstars show up? No. I was kind of hoping this was
So-
Space Jam.
I'm just gonna give you a summary of the movie.
By the way, real quick, point of order. This movie that he's describing came out before Space Jam, a year before Space Jam. Sorry, 18 months
did it come
before
out-
Space Jam.
Did it come out before Flubber?
Yeah, probably, although Flubber is a remake.
Yeah,
but
Flubber was originally
right.
Jerry Lewis.
yeah,
so-
2 years before Flubber.
So the original Flubber, I'm assuming, didn't have basketball.
I don't know. I don't remember. I know I've seen
I
the film, The
believe
Absent-Minded.
There was applications where he tested it with
I,
basketball. Yeah.
I've seen The Absent-Minded Professor, but I don't remember it. Hold on, Absent-Minded. It is basketball in the original, by the way.
So the movie is about, or isn't about, the I'm sorry,
It's
God,
the
devil.
Schrodinger's cat of Ernest basketball films. What do you mean?
It is literally a game of the God and the devil playing to see if a black kid is going to steal tennis shoes from a mall. That is the
Are
entire
you speaking
movie.
metaphorically? Are you telling me God and the devil are actual characters in the film?
God has sent a very large black basketball player to act as a messenger / player or pawn in his game.
Oh my God, Kareem
And-
Abdul-Jabbar is credited as the
Yes.
archangel of basketball. I
Yes.
thought that was just
Yes.
like the way ESPN is the Cana Slane, the great Bambino. Wait, you're telling me he's the literal Metatron of God?
basketball.
Yep. So he is that, and then there's the little short fat guy.
Moloch.
That's the-
His name
that's-
is Moloch. Zamiel
Yeah.
Moloch. Wait, are you telling me this is Faust with Ernest and it's set in basketball?
That's what it sounds
Probably.
like.
So the movie opens with it shows Ernest as a little kid I don't think we've ever seen this before, but he
Other than
looks
his head
exactly
getting
the
slammed
same.
into a chalkboard.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so probably same kid. Honestly, couldn't tell you. But he has the hat on. He has the vest on. So he's watching people play basketball, and he's clearly enthralled by it. He just, I guess, isn't allowed to play. It then cuts to him being a janitor at a mall,
Another janitor.
and he's just cleaning at the mall, hanging out with his friends. I guess it's implied, or they talk about the rest of the janitors all play for this basketball team, and Ernest is just all he cares about is like finally getting to play basketball with them. And every night, I guess they close down the mall, and instead of cleaning, they just play basketball. And then whenever they're done there, they go to the ring or the basketball, whatever, arena, stadium. Fuck, I don't sports
Basketball
ball.
court.
Basketball court. They go to the basketball court.
Basketball's
and they
played on
play
a court,
basketball.
Brian.
And so
You know, like the baseball court.
basically,
Ah, yes, golf
Ernest
court.
says. So Ernest says to
Yeah,
them,
you love
"Hey
the
guys,
hockey
I'd really
court,
like to
right?"
play basketball." Yeah. And so he asks if he can play basketball with them. They keep saying no, like you're crazy, you're tripping, you're stupid. And they finally let him. I can't remember if they just throw him the ball or he interrupts or something interferes, and they end up like destroying an entire section of the mall.
Wait, by
And-
playing basketball?
Yeah.
I don't,
yeah,
so I know you're not a
typical
sports. I know
Ernest
you're not
fashion.
I know you're not a sportsman, Brian. But having played basketball in my life, there's very little chance of you doing more damage than a relatively light rubber ball can do at arms throwing strength.
Having now watched 6 Ernest movies, I promise you know exactly how Ernest can find a way.
Fair enough. Continue. Asked
So-
and answered.
So mall security shows up, and they're basically like, "You're paying for all of this. Who's responsible for this? You guys are losing your job." And Ernest steps up and he says, "Don't punish them. This is all on me. They had nothing to do with this." And he's like, "What? Oh, okay. I mean, fine. You're fired." And he's like, "Wait, just take it out of my pay." And he's like, "Okay, you can just work and not get paid for the rest of your life." And so Ernest agrees. And all the guys are like, "Ernest, you didn't have to do that." And like they've been treating him like shit this whole time. And he's like, "I just want to be one of the guys, play some basketball." And they're like, "I mean, we owe you one, but like, I don't think we should play basketball with you." And he's like, "Come on, guys, that's all I want."
Oh, wow.
So he's literally just like, in debt to this security guard for the rest of his life, and they won't even let him play basketball with him. Eventually, they say, "Sure, come join the team." They give him a jersey, they let him play, but they explicitly talk amongst the team, and they're like, "Hey, he can join the team, but he's going to be on the bench the whole time." So during their first
Okay.
game, it's playoffs for their small little whatever. I don't know what they call the minor basketball. Like it's like your small
be a
local city
league.
teams.
It'd be a league.
Yeah.
A minor
It's
league?
minor league, but like even more minor than minor, I guess. I don't know. Just a
Pee-wee.
small.
The sub-minor league?
Yeah. And so they have their game and they're
Basketball.
playing against their rivals, and Ernest is basically being a cheerleader, jumping up and down with pom-poms and doing the Ernest thing, and manages to knock over basketballs and injure one of the other players, which loses the game for them.
That's not how that works.
Yeah, well,
Wait,
that's
I'm
how
sorry.
it worked in this movie.
Who do they play?
They play their rivals. I can't remember the name of the team.
Okay.
They're called the Clean Sweep or something, and
Okay.
then their rivals or something
The
else.
strip mall dandies.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Rival janitors from another mall.
basically,
The Paul Blarts. Yeah.
the game ends, and they're like, "Thanks, way to go, Ernest. You fucked it up again. Like, I don't know why we let you play. You didn't even you sat on the bench the whole time, and you still lost the game for us." So they're all pissed off at him. They leave, and he's sitting in the locker room, butthurt about it, and this basketball player you keep talking about, I don't know who he is.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yes, him. He shows up. And
Very
he's like, "Hi."
famous, well-respected basketball player. commentator, martial artist who trained under Bruce Lee, very, very actor in many things. He's a very famous man.
This guy.
I assure
So he
you.
shows up.
You recall him from Airplane, the comedy Airplane.
Still haven't watched it.
I was about to say he doesn't recall him from that.
Got nothing for you. He's very.
So
wait, you did you get the Bruce? Did you bought too many a home media discs recently? Surely you bought the Bruce Lee Criterion set.
no, I didn't.
Unfortunate for you, but you will see
Yeah.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in it once you do.
I have the DVD set of all the same movies. I will one day upgrade, but as of right now, I have
Worth
not
the
done it.
upgrade.
So, anyway, he shows up, and he's like, how's it going, Ernest? I'm the Archangel of Basketball. We have a present for you, and he gives him these crazy Nike light-up shoe things. They're like, I don't know, giant sneakers with blue LEDs all over them, and
Question: is it an actual endorsement deal from Nike, or is it just? Like,
oh no,
Okay, I
no,
was
they're
just
just,
curious.
they're not branded. They're I can't remember what they call them, but the little kid that I mentioned later, that the God and the devil are trying to decide if he's going to steal the shoes. He has his eye on these shoes at the mall throughout the film.
Okay, I don't like where
So-
this is going.
So he gets this pair of shoes, and they are possessed, I guess you'd call it. They talk. They have those like tiny little creature voices, similar to maybe gremlins.
Are you talking about? Oh, the shoes themselves talk.
The shoes, yeah, the shoes talk, but it's not like an audible. Like you can't understand what they're
Like
saying.
you understand they're
It's just,
trying to communicate, but it's
it's just high
inaudible.
pitched,
It's
like
not-
cartoony voices.
It's not decipherable.
Right. But essentially they kind of, once he puts them on, they kind of like lead his feet, and like he's like trying to, get to his car and they won't let him, or like when he's trying to drive, one keeps using the gas, one keeps using the brakes, and it's just this, I don't know, big stupid not that funny thing where his feet are doing everything for him. It gets to the point where he keeps meeting up with this basketball team. He's got these shoes on, but he's still sitting on the bench. They keep saying you're not allowed to play, like you keep screwing it up, blah blah blah. One of the players gets injured, and they have no choice but to use Ernest. They basically say, if you don't allow Ernest to play, you are down a player and you have to forfeit the game.
Yeah, makes sense.
So they're like, okay. all
So
right,
far,
Ernest, you're
still
up.
adhering to the commonly accepted rules of basketball.
Yeah. So Ernest steps out there, and I guess the leader of this basketball team, who is the father of
The leader
kid.
of the basketball team.
They're like he's like the head guy.
So
he
there's
kind
a
of makes the calls.
coach.
King
There's
No,
a
it's
team
not-
captain. And,
No,
and then
I
there's
guess-
a manager, and then there's a manager, coach, captain, and point guard. Which
I guess
one
you'd
is
call
he?
him the captain. They don't ever say anything. He's
That will be
there's
the
like
team
five,
captain.
Yeah, he's like there's 5 of them.
Is
and
he
he's the
also
one
a
that kind of
player?
always- yeah.
Team captain.
Team captain,
basketball. That's what
who
I'm
is also
referring
the
to him as.
Oh,
father.
Brian, I'm curious. Have you ever played any sport?
Yeah, but it's been like 20 something years, and I don't pay attention to them whatsoever.
Okay,
so I
very
don't-
good. Okay.
yeah.
I mean,
Yes,
I haven't
have
played a sport. I haven't played a sport. I haven't played a team sport for probably 25 years either, but I still understand the basic structure.
I've
I've seen
understand,
movies like
I understand how the game is played, and I understand how it works, but I don't know the words for it because I
so
never
most
talk
teams
about
have a
it.
team captain who is a player and
Mm-hmm.
is considered to be, while not a coach, a point of inspiration, pride, leadership, guide, emotional, physical, mental guidance, like someone who really understands the sport on a player level, who is sort of seen as not a right hand to the captain or to right hand to the coach, but seen as a what would be the good example? Are you familiar with the term XO in military terminology?
I've heard it a million times. but
Executive
not really.
officer?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that, if that makes any sense. My
So-
face,
I got that reference.
So he is
am
the,
I, am
he
I
is
off
the team
base
captain.
anyone on
No, you're
military
good.
or sports terms?
I think you're
Yeah.
on
I'm
point.
just going to refer to him as King Basketball like I have been.
Very good. Keen Basketball said what?
So King Basketball, the captain, is he's also the father of the kid that is, in play of this checkers or chess game of God
The
and the Devil.
Faust.
Prince Basketball.
Yeah, Prince
Basketball.
Prince Basketball Faustius.
He basically goes to Ernest and says, "Look, just stand here. Don't do anything. Don't touch the ball. You just have to stand right here." And Ernest is like, "Okay, fine. I'll listen to you." And so the game starts. The ball flies towards Ernest. It goes right past him. Foul ball, out, whatever the fuck it's called.
Continue.
It's not a foul. What is it called in basketball? A foul ball.
Well, a
Out of
person
play, out
can
of
be
bounds?
a person can be fouled. The ball can go out of bounds or offside or off court.
Yeah. So ball goes out of bounds, and he says,
I feel
"What are you
like
doing?"
can't
Dennis has
foul-
Wikipedia next to him. It's just like, yes, basketball as defined by
Basketball.
Webster's.
You cannot foul the ball. You can foul a person in basketball.
Gotcha.
You can,
So anyway.
the basketball can leave the court and go out of bounds, which will stop play.
Sounds like a challenge. I believe I can foul that ball.
It's weird. It feels like you didn't so much dribble it as literally push that ball to the ground.
So, the ball goes out of bounds, and
Why-
the whole team's
wait,
like, "Ernest,
real quick.
what
I'm
the
sorry.
fuck
I'm
are
sorry.
you doing?"
Am I the sports guy on this podcast?
Probably. You and probably you and
I just
Steve,
don't.
honestly.
I just don't know basketball that well.
That's
Football,
fair. Because
football, baseball, golf, tennis. I can follow that.
lacrosse, like anything else you want to list.
Nope.
I can follow football and maybe hockey more than any other sport, but yeah,
Yeah, I can follow hockey.
I don't know much about the other sports that Steve is listing, other than historical stuff. I can tell you all about what Ken Burns has to say about baseball.
all right. Anyway, so ball goes out of bounds. The whole team is like, "Ernest, what the fuck are you doing? Like, why didn't you stop it?" And he's like, "You guys told me to stand here and do nothing." And they're like, "No, if the ball comes to you, grab it and pass it to me." And
Okay.
so Ernest is like, "All right, I guess I can do that." So the ball, obviously gets thrown to Ernest, and these magical shoes of his, it's suddenly Flubber. He's flying through the air. The ball's.
Well, I don't know
going
how
all
much
over the
is it
place.
flubber. It seems like it's just the heavenly power of Christ, based on what
Yeah,
you've described.
It's his Jesus basketball shoes.
And he said on to his disciples, "Mad ups, dog."
And I look and behold a white horse. Ye, there is nothing in thy rule book that says an angel cannot play basketball.
And shooteth the J, my son. Shooteth.
Thou shalt not go for 2 points when thou shalt reach 3.
Anyway, continue on this magical journey.
So these shoes, I guess, make him able to jump across the entire basketball court,
Hence the
slam dunk
title.
it. If the ball is about to get in, he basically flies through the air, grabs it from the other person's hoop, and then launches back to the other side, slam dunks it. So people see this, and he instantly becomes a
Well,
extremely
yeah, he's defied
famous
all laws of
basketball
physics.
player.
He's a god. I mean, he is but a god.
Yeah, and so he went from his team basically just telling him to sit on the bench to no one caring about the team and only caring about Ernest. And because of this recent success, they get the opportunity to play against a pro team.
What? Like
And-
as like an exhibition match or like a charity match or
Because they won their playoffs, they get to play against somebody in the NBA. I can't remember. I think Hornets.
but
something.
wait, what? The
Don't know. That was the
Hornets?
rules. It was like if you win the playoffs against this other team, you guys get
Wait,
to play in the major
so
leagues
did they
or
actually
whatever
get the
fuck.
rights to like the Charlotte Hornets?
I'd believe that.
Well, no, it's more like how,
Probably
the
not, but-
NBA, the NFL, the MLB, they're very protective of actually using real teams in movies. Although, to be fair, though, in the mid-90s,
could be
the
wrong.
NBA was less protective of it. You Celtic pride and things like that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. But so this is where it kind of goes off the rails, and Ernest similar to what Steve was just talking about, Ernest becomes a huge dick. He gets his ego just kind of
Hubris.
shoots
A new
through the
theme
roof.
in these straight-to-video films,
And-
the hubris of Ernest.
Yeah. And so you have this girl who's only been in the movie for maybe
Okay.
one or two scenes, who Ernest kind of showed interest in. It shows her, and Ernest is like, "Hey, you want to come watch me play basketball?" And she's like, maybe not. And the devil comes up to her, and you find out that there's this plot going on in the background where the devil is bribing her with lottery tickets and riches
What?
and fame and fortune to manipulate Ernest.
Manipulate him
And
by nagging
suddenly-
him? No, I'm not going.
I
Is
don't
this
know
the plot of
what
Disney's
to call
Hercules?
it.
Again,
The
2 years
devil
before
and
that.
this girl pick up Ernest. The devil and this girl pick up Ernest from a celebratory dinner they're having, and they put him in the back of a limo and tell him about how rich and famous he's gonna be. And he starts hallucinating about money and fame and fortune, and you get this weird scene of Ernest being on a runway and being a fashion model.
Any characters? Any character work?
It's this weird mix of what he normally wears, but it's leather instead.
Oh, he's a leather
But,
daddy
like
now.
any new Ernest characters?
no,
Any new Ernest characters? Like
No.
Steve also. Any Ernest characters
nope,
in
nope,
school?
just Ernest. I don't think he does
Interesting.
anything.
Interesting.
Did he
None
do any in yours,
whatsoever.
Steve?
Unless you count smart
Ooh,
Ernest as a
weird
character,
departure.
in which case...
No, but you know what I mean, like
none of
Neck
that.
Brace Woman and all
Yeah.
that stuff he's been doing. Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, there weren't really any characters outside of suddenly he is a huge dick because he's
Right,
you know,
right,
good
right,
at
right.
basketball, or has good shoes. So all of this is going on, and he goes to the he has this spectacular opening for this big basketball game, and everyone is there to see Ernest specifically, and the at this point the captain of the team is fed up with it. His son, who has been eyeing these shoes this whole time, has been asking him throughout the whole movie, like, "Dad, I want these shoes. I need these shoes. I can't play basketball because I don't have these shoes." And then he sees Ernest has them, and he's like, "Look, Dad, like, you suck at basketball. Look at what Ernest can do." And he ends up stealing the shoes from the mall, going to meet up with Ernest, who has become his role model. And in the locker room, essentially says he looks up to Ernest and that his dad sucks. And it just
Okay.
it just gets really like weird and kind of dark out of nowhere, because these shoes have essentially turned this kid against his his dad and made him evil. And so somehow or another this snaps Ernest out of his fame and fortune and being a huge dick, and he essentially goes back out and he says, "I'm not going to play anymore." Like, he takes the shoes off and he's just like, "Fuck this." Eventually, I'm trying to remember like how all of this kind of plays out, but even though he steps out, the team still wins, because they were good all along. It was just the shoes helped them get something.
Okay.
But long story short, you find out that this devil guy and this archangel of basketball have been playing a game this whole time where they were placing bets on whether or not this kid steals shoes from the store at the mall. And they were using Ernest as a pawn, as like a role model to see which side he would pick. And that's how the film ends, is them having this conversation and like, "How did you know he would return the shoes?" And the archangel of basketball is like, "Just had a feeling Ernest would be the light," or something like that.
So it really was Goethe's Ernest. Well,
I
that
was
sounds
trying-
amazing.
I was trying to find a better way to summarize it. I mean, it's kind of all
I
over
mean,
the place. And
if
outside
it's
of,
just a film that's rife with incident, it's sometimes hard to do.
it's just basketball, and then sometimes there's a little bit of
It's Air Bud, but with Ernest.
basically. and God and
So,
the devil.
yeah. So, how would you rank it with the 5 theatrical Ernest films you watched?
So I started it while I kind of grabbed dinner and just kind of put it on as like, I'm going to start this and I'll finish it somewhere else later. And I ended up just watching the whole thing. Was surprisingly a pretty quick and easy watch. I didn't hate it. I'd say maybe in the top 3.
That is really surprising, actually.
Top 3. Okay. All right.
Not the worst.
Oh my God, what a slam dunk that was. Anyway, this is a non-awkward way to say we are dividing this into 2 episodes. Surprise! It's part 6, V1. And you're going to see part 6, V2, who knows when. Anyway, everyone's here. It's not just David cutting in.
I
Prove
can't
you're
believe
here.
that you actually went and said what a slam dunk that was. I
Why?
genuinely,
What a slam dunk.
genuinely am disappointed in you.
See how they reacted?
Earnestly,
to what I said?
David.
That's proof.
Earnestly.
Well, now I'm disappointed in 2 people.
See,
bring-
the fact that the fact that this is actually happening while I'm doing this interim proves I didn't just make this edit. And that is the most important part.
Correct.
The important part is that we all made the edit.
About
We
the
all
friends we made
collaborated.
along the way. And several I lost,
Anyway,
apparently.
good luck with the second part of this.
You've been listening to Cattywampus. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at CattyWampusPod. Email us at cattywampuspodcast@gmail.com. Music by Tilly.